I came home, and as soon as I got off the car, I fainted.
Everyone, I'm your host, Alannized, and this is Noche De Pendejadas, your favorite podcast turned talk show en donde yo te traigo a tus influencers favoritos para platicar y posiblemente sacarle sus trapitos al sol. Hoy les tengo un episodio que yo sé que allá en casita están súper emocionadas de escuchar. So with that being said, please help me welcome my guest tonight, LESLEY Karlette. Hola, hola, amigas, pónganse a aplaudir.
Ay, no las oigo.
Los quiero ver gritando, amigas, pero ¿cómo estás? Welcome to the podcast.
I'm good.
Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros el día de hoy.
Absolutely, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. Caught me by surprise.
No,
I was like, wait, what?
I like to interview not just people that they're constantly like, tráeme a esta persona, but also people that I'm like, no, yo quiero conocer hasta más a esa persona.
She looks a little interesting.
Literally, I'm like, curiosita. Not the curiosita, bitch. No, but I'm really excited de tenerte aquí el día de hoy. Yo quiero poder sentarme aquí con ella, you guys, para que no nomás ustedes la conozcan, pero yo también. Antes de que empecemos, cuéntanos un poquito más de tu semana. ¿Qué has hecho esta semana, amiga?
Nada. No, just kidding. No, me gusta. Like, I try to keep myself super busy. I've been really into taking care of myself. Antes no me cuidaba bastante, like, health-wise. And now I'm like, get vitamins, get CMOS, get gym, get eating good. And I try, my best. So that's what my life is now. Like,
it's really hard, though, no?
Oh, my God, super.
Ahorita que estás en esta journey, what do you think is the hardest part about it?
It's because, like, the chips just talk to me. They're like, the Cheetos, they're like, hey.
You're a chip girl? Same.
Girl.
I don't share this too much because then I feel like people will judge me after getting weight loss surgery. I've gotten into a bad habit once again que no puedo terminar el día sin comer chips at night. Like, when it comes to me chilling at night, me tengo que preparar mis chetos con mi Valentina, con mi chamoy.
And then I think I'm like, no, pues pepino un poquito just to
for the healthy balance. You know what's so funny? Like, this week, I was actually, like, kind of sad because for some reason we were out of limones. The only limones we had ya estaban podridos. You know when they get a little white and shit?
I still would have been like,
you're like,
cut around it.
You're like, the inside's still good.
Like, it's still good, don't
And
worry.
like 2 days in a row, we didn't have limones. And I remember I had these chips saved up in my cabinet. And my boyfriend was like, babe, you don't need to eat chips today. And I'm like, I don't, but I want some. Y ayer me los chingué porque fuimos a agarrar limones to the grocery store, que ya para decirles, you guys, están bien caros. Ahorita todo está rete caro, los pinches huevos a $17. I think avocado estaban a 2 por 7. Antes estaban a 2 por 5.
Let me just do the tree.
Literally.
You're gonna see us on TikTok. Hi guys, welcome to our lemon tree.
We're gonna have our own little tree. No, but I'm so excited de tenerte aquí el día de hoy. Antes de que empecemos con todo el chisme, quiero que nos digas un poquito más de quién eres y qué haces.
So my name is LESLEY Karlette. I am 24 years old. I am from McAllen, Texas. That's South Texas. Known as like the 956. I don't know if you heard it.
Yes.
Oh my God, we're crazy over there. And I think that's where I started. I think because of how I was brought up, I came on full force de loca on TikTok. I would always talk on there, everything. Like, it was like my diary. Yo, sin pensar, I'm like, do you know, like, the whole world is watching? And I didn't ever think of that. Well, I was small. Estaba chiquita.
Yeah.
I think I started when I was, like, 20. To me, it's still chiquita. I don't know. I feel like it's so small. I think 2019, around there. And I remember I just went on there just talking and stuff like, just about me, my personal life and stuff that I would go through and things that would happen with people I would go on dates with, or I would go out, y que me pasó, y que me peleé con esta, y que esto, el otro. So I think it's like, oh my God, because I started off like that, like bien loca, bien. And then now you see me, you're like, oh, I'm a little bit more calmada. I'm like,
Did you expect in esos momentos donde andabas de loca that like your life would be what it is today, or would you just be posting nomás por nomás?
No, I already knew I was her. I already knew I was kind of like, okay, everybody would tell me, like, you're crazy, you're funny. And I'm like, what makes me funny is my trauma, guys. Like, that's what it's, but I would be like, eh. And I started to notice when people would be like, oh, like, I like watching you, like, you're super entertaining. And I kind of grasp it with that. Like, when they started saying, like, oh, you're entertaining me, de ahí no me saqué. I'm like, oh, that's what I do. Pay me because I'm good at it. Like
I love your skits. I think people like, you know what's so crazy though? Because there's skits and skits. I feel like there's skits that like right away you're like, ay no, pinches actores mamones, no saben ni actuar. But I feel like your skits, and just like when you're in that like skit mode, it comes so natural to you. Like
because it is.
I'm not acting.
I'm not acting.
But you know what I mean though? Like even though I'm sure you sit down, you're like, okay, we're gonna make a funny skit about this and that. Like if I were to do that, they'd be like, I know. Then an award of worst actor ever.
Just get off.
Literally, like, cállate,
put your phone down.
That's cringe. You're cringe. But I feel like a ti te sale bien. And I feel like that's another big reason why people feel so entertained because, like, se te sale bien natural.
It feels like, I mean, I've seen it with myself also, but I feel it's like that because either sometimes the skits are stuff that I've been through, and then sometimes it's just like the locura like that I come up with. So technically, it's still in my mind when I'm like, oh my God, did I just really come up with that? Like, is that really me? But yeah, I was like, that's how it started. That I was just like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. But to be honest, the skits didn't happen till like later. Yeah, I started off on there because I used to be a server, and I started on there just they would see me get ready for work. I was so mad when I would work. Amargada as fuck. Super amargada. I was like, oh my God. And you could see it, and I would see it before I go watch my old videos. I'm like, who let me? Who let me? But now it is who I am, right? And it was who I was at the moment. I had so much attitude. I was real like, I didn't care about nothing. Nadie me podía decir nada. I thought I was me. I was like, I know who I am and this and that. And I was like, wow. Like
I love that though. I feel like that makes the difference when it comes to like, you know, your audience. La gente se atrae to the realness of an influencer. You know what I mean? Because a veces we can be so stuck in the, oh my God, we have to live this perfect life. Like we have to be like al 100 at all times. Pero lo que la gente le encanta es the realness.
They want to relate.
Yes, they want to relate. They're like, esta güey está enojada porque se tiene que ir a trabajar. Yo también.
I think in the beginning, because we think not a lot of people are watching us, so we're more comfortable. But now that I know that a lot of people are watching me, I'm kind of like...
You're more careful.
Yes.
No, back then, you guys, I have privated over, I want to say like 400 YouTube videos.
I can't private nothing because I feel like somebody will come out and be like, remember you did this? And I'm like...
yeah, but y'all didn't fucking screen record at the time.
Yeah, true.
Because that was like 5-6 years ago,
the only thing that sucks about it is that some of my TikToks that would go viral were me talking about stuff that I used to do. So I'm like...
You're like, that's how they found me.
That's
the most viewers.
It's not like I can come on there and be like, I could never ever come on here and be like, no, soy la más perfecta. No, porque tengo donde me pisen. Like, I'm like, no, I know that. It's kind of long. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I know, and I'm aware like of how I used to be, como era. You know, stuff that, you know, my past mistakes or stuff that, because I'm no soy perfecta tampoco.
I love that though. I love that because I feel like I'm exactly the same. Yo también, you know, ahorita, especially if you found me through the podcast, you guys, if you're not an OG, like Familia Metiche, like member, then obviamente ustedes me han de mirar, no, este güey no quebra un vaso ni un plato, pero sí. Quebro toda la pinche cocina. Antes de que empecemos con el chisme, do you remember how we met or when or where?
Candy Lover. Yes.
I was literally telling her.
Like,
me la topé, you guys, kind of like sin querer.
Yeah, I didn't.
And my first impression, you guys, was like, okay, I think we just kind of como que nos topamos, no? And my first impression was like, oh shit, like, did I hit someone? I looked back and I'm like,
I think you was like, don't act like you were like, because I know he was like.
No. I looked to my back to see who like I hit,
like,
thinking that they were going to be like at my height. Yeah. No, you guys, si quieren saber algo de la Leslie, está bien chaparrita. Está bien chaparrita. I was like, oh shit. Like, how's the weather down there? It's all humid.
Are you okay?
I'm like, did you smell my fart que me acabo de echar?
Por eso volteé. I'm
like, it's a sauna in here. No, but she is very short, you guys. And yeah, like, I did not expect that.
Everyone was like, oh my God. And it's because the way I carry myself and the way I guess I look on camera too. But I think it's just the way I carry myself and the way it's a thing, guys, where the way you carry yourself, people were like, no, she's just big person, and then you look at me and I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I'm still me, but you're just like, I was not expecting that.
For some reason, I expected you like to be like 5'5", 5'6". Y ahorita me sale que 4'11".
Yeah, 4'11", and where,
When did you stop growing?
I think when I came out the womb, honestly. No, I'm just kidding.
Like así salió, y así se quedó.
I think honestly, middle school. I think like once I hit high school, I'm like, this is it. Like this, Babe.
Do you like being a short girl though?
Yes and no. The only times I don't is looking for pants or when in a picture. I love seeing those beautiful long-legged girls when they're like así con las legs and they're like, I'm like, girl, yes.
Like that's when I want to be tall.
Oh, yeah, everyone's like, oh my God, this short. No, I don't know. Like I love to see it. I think everyone's beautiful in their own way, of course, but I just feel like it's just so powerful. Like it's so powerful. I put myself an example. They see me because they thought I was tall.
I feel like people expect you to not be as short, but for some reason, people expect me to be short. Like when they meet me, they're like, oh my God, I didn't think you'd be that tall. And I'm like, pues que miran en mis videos. Parezco nano, okay? Imagine me all fucking.
You start getting a shorter fridge, everything's short in your house so you can look taller. You're like, what do you mean?
No, but I get that a lot. Do I look online like short or tall?
To me, you look tall.
Right?
Or maybe because I met you. I don't know.
True. We met each other. But prior to that, what did you think? Like I was giving short vibes or like tall vibes?
I think you're medium, but not too tall. But you are tall.
I am tall, you guys.
No,
I'm
he
over
is
6 feet
tall.
tall. So I feel like that's where people kind of get like, what the fuck?
I was like, oh.
No, tú así, güey, yo así. Like, ¿cómo estás
You're
allá
like,
abajo y
nice to
cómo
meet
estás
you.
allá
I'm
arriba?
like,
Bitch, all skyscraper. Bueno, ya vamos a empezar con la entrevista del día de hoy, amigas. Y vamos a empezar con la pregunta that I love starting with because I feel like it's super important para poder conocerte un poquito más, like your upbringing y todo eso. How was Leslie growing up? ¿Cómo fue tu infancia, amiga?
Growing up as Leslie Karlette was good. It was good, not too bad because I didn't let it be bad. With certain things I know, people would be like, oh my God, you went through that and you're okay? I guess I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I grew up with my mom, 100%. I love my mom so much. I know a lot of people saw like a little, glimpse of that we might have, not have a little fight, but a little discussion. She never went on and said anything, but I mean, it was out there that we had like a little interference, which is okay, but I love my mom. And I always said, and I know there's screen recordings where I said like, my mom siempre va a ser mi mamá. My family's always going to be my family no matter what. Like, esa es mi familia. And it's not like I can just, even if I move away miles away, that's my blood is their blood. But my mom raised me and my stepdad, my mom did everything for me. I was raised by so many women around me. My dad wasn't really present, honestly. I have a little bit of daddy issues. And people were like, oh, that adds up. I do have a little bit of daddy issues. He was never present. I understood that once I actually got to meet him and stuff like that and seeing his life, because he did get remarried with somebody, and I have brothers and sisters obviously with them, so I met him and I didn't get to meet him until I was like 18. I met him first. I know I would always sometimes talk to him on the phone, but nunca me faltaba nada. One thing about my parents, nunca me faltaba nada. They gave me the best they could, even though at a young age I started working because I was like, no, like, yo quiero trabajar por mis cosas. My parents are really old school. My mom especially, super old school. Like, yo nunca salía. Like, even to football games, she'll be like, ¿pa qué? ¿Pa qué quieres ver eso? Like, ni te gusta. Like, for what? Like, no.
Pon la novela aquí.
Yeah, ¿pa qué? Si estás bien, tienes tu casa. Her main word, tienes tu casa. So, she is a little strict on me. Still is a little, and I understand her como mamá la entiendo. Like, I'm not a mom, but I could just imagine. I put myself in her shoes. But young, that's why when you guys saw me, you guys saw me on TikTok, the reason I was like, estaba bien loca, because I made my mom's life a little hard, even though I already have 3 other sisters and they made it hard for her too, but she was like, I can't catch a break with these girls.
Do you feel like that locaste un poquito because of how strict your parents were growing up? That you're like, cuando yo tenga la edad, yo voy a hacer y deshacer como yo quiera? Or have you always been like tremenda, desde chiquita?
I can't even lie, I've always been crazy. My mom's like, no, es que no sé qué trae. Like, always, like, it's just what I say and that's it. She's like, I don't know where you get your attitude from.
De ella.
Where do you think, honey? Like, yes, because I was just raised by there's so many girls. I have, like, my sisters around me. There's so many girls, and I think they don't realize that they taught me the way I am, which is good, but which is like, girl, you were supposed to be like that with life, not with us. And I guess con parejo todos, like the way I was strong and the way you guys see me with my attitude, with my mom, with my sisters, and no, you're not going to tell, and I'm going to do what I got to do, and I always did. She was mad when I first got my first job. I first started working at Texas Roadhouse, and she was so mad. I remember she was so mad, but she still took me to my interview. She's like, es que no entiendo, like, ¿pa qué? Like, te doy todo, like.
No tienes necesidad.
Yes, ¿pa qué quieren? And I just wanted to, like, I've always been like that. And I think it was more because I was good in school. I wasn't too bad. Like, I was never really like peleonera or stuff like that. Maybe a little bit, but not too much. Not too.
Porque te buscaban.
Yeah, I'm like scared, like, you know, like, but I've always like, you know, I just me defiendo. I've always been like that. I started working at such a young age. She couldn't believe it. She was just like, she was so mad. She got over it. She's like that. I've learned that como mamá, they get over it. They get over it. They always get over it.
Lo aceptan. Lo terminan aceptando.
She's like, pues ya qué. When I go in and I tell her, I'm like, oh, I got the job. She's like, ugh, okay. She's like, ¿qué te dieron? And I was like, pues sí. And she's like, oh, okay.
Quiero platicar un poquito, nos cuentas de que tú growing up, you didn't have your biological dad in your life present till you were 18. Cuéntanos un poquito eso, cómo fue el growing up sin teniendo your biological dad in your life y cómo fue ese momento where you're like, look.
Well, it sucks also because I don't consider them my stepsisters and maybe other, I don't know, because they have a different dad. Obviously, I have my dad and they have their dad. And so it did weird, like, oh, like at my heart, like when I would see them, like, oh, I'm gonna go to my dad's. And my sisters and my brother they were so sweet to me. They would be like, no, pues vete con nosotros. Like I was always invited to their Christmas and it was good. But I mean, obviously, uno se siente, like it does hurt. And it sucks that my first heartbreak was my dad. Like it sucks to... Oh, and I think that's why I'm so strong. And I'm like, pues ni modo, tuvo que... And the way I am, like, it happened porque tenía que pasar y ya. And that's the reason I'm like this and this is the reason. Which I appreciate that at a young age, I experienced that because I'm so strong. I'm so strong. Like, it sucks, but ni modo. Like, I couldn't... And I wouldn't tell everybody. Like, everybody's like, well, you look like you have this perfect... I know it does look like, but I don't. I don't like for people to feel bad for me. There's no reason because everybody goes through things. So I'm like, ni modo. Me tocó lo que me tocó, ni modo, así de adelante. So that's how it was. And it did hurt. So when I finally talked to him, I was like, everyone asked, like, what was it? Like, I know it wasn't my fault because you brought me to this world. I've always had that. My mom always says, like, tú tienes la mentalidad, like, I've always...
Madura.
Yes. Like, I always understood it. Not too madura, but, like, I always understood, like, real life problems. Like, así de cosas así. I understood, like, okay, even though he still talked to me and told me why, I feel like there's no excuse to ever leave your child behind. But I had to forgive him for myself, and I did, and I understood. And when I finally realized, when he explained to me, like, oh, why? I understood. I understood that if I was around him at a young age and with the person he was with and seeing my brothers and sisters from his side and how they are right now and what they've been through, I understood por qué Dios no me puso ahí. I understood why I was not there. Because if I would have been there around my dad at a young age and around that environment that was going on, how he explained things to me, I don't think I would have been who I was. And I think I would have had like so much worse pain because I already have the pain of you not being there. So I think I'm okay. I was like, oh, when I was siempre, no que tenía un coraje, but I wasn't healed. People are right. When they see it through the lens. Like there's no way you can fake it where you can be like, no, like, no me stop. They would see it, and I would see the comments. They're like, why does she have so much attitude? Like, yes, I was funny, but they're like, what's wrong with you? Like, tú no estás bien. Where's my dad? I was like, why? ¿Por qué mi vida es así? And it was always, I think my whole life, it was always like, why? Until lo viví, I understood why. And then to me explican las cosas, like, when he told me certain things, and I saw it from my own eyes, like, I saw my brothers and sisters and what they went through and what they're going through right now. I was like, oh. But I have my stepdad, and I thank him so much. He took me in, and he did what he could. But he still tells me, like, I know. And it sucks that they feel it. Like, they feel it. Like, he told me, like, I know I don't fill in the shoes 100%, and I'm not your dad, pero voy a ser lo más posible. And that a person doesn't have to do that. Yeah. Like, they don't have to. They don't. Like, he's not responsible. And for him to care, it really meant a lot. Like, and that's because I was still kind of mean to him because I'm telling you, when I was young, you could see it in my old videos. I see it, like, I was so mad at the world, basically. Yeah. Like, when I first met him, I really thought that it was going to be, like,
peace.
And, oh, no. So the questions that I wanted got answered, and then I didn't realize that I had, like, pain. I'm like, wait, like, but why? Like, ¿qué te hice yo? Like, the excuses that he was saying, I'm like, but no, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You need to be a parent, and if you bring someone to this world, I'm very big on that. That's why I feel like I haven't had a baby, because I feel like if I'm going to have a baby, I mean, no one's ever prepared, but still, if you can prevent it. Yeah. Like, if you're able to, like, still control the situation, control it. Like, why would you bring a baby into this world and, dale. I mean, my mom did the most, but a mom's love and a dad's love are two different things. But my mom's love was more than enough, 100%. Like, I love my mom, and I think she did an amazing job. Aunque I still, like, was kind of hard and stubborn, but she understood. She never, like, se enojaba bastante conmigo. Like, she understood donde el coraje venía.
Yeah.
Like, she understood it, but she was just like, that's just, I can't take the pain away. Like, I'm like, it's just something that I have to let her, like,
live. Nos cuentas que, pues, obviamente, you know, you didn't have a relationship with your dad, but you did have a present stepfather.
I did.
Were you guys close growing up, or was it very much like, tú no eres mi papá, no me digas lo que tenga que hacer? Like,
well,
what was that like?
I feel like that's how I was, which was bad because he didn't deserve that. He was just like, okay, like, but he was very good. You know, there's a house full of girls. He knows how to deal with us now, right? But he would just be like, okay, like, he wouldn't step on my toes. Él nomás me dejaba, nunca ponía, what I liked is nunca ponía su opinión. Like, between me and my mom, ustedes, like, yo no soy nadie. But I think because the one time he did, I was like, no, tú no puedes say, and he was like, well, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like, but it's because, like, it's just el coraje. And it wasn't right. Now that I realize it, like, I tell him, like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, he's like, no, you're good. Like, I understand. Like,
Tus hermanas de tu stepdad y de tu mamá son de ellos, right? You're the only one that's not from your stepdad and your mom?
Actually, my stepdad and my mom don't have no kids together. So, in his eyes, I was his kid, me and my brother. Because we were the babies, because my other sisters are already grown. So, los que quedaron en la casa, like, he's like, no, like, you're mine. Like, I see you guys as, and he would, even in any place, he'll be like, oh, this is my daughter. He would never say stepdaughter. This is my no, he would be like, my daughter, my son. And yeah, I still felt like I had it there, but I never let it be. I was always like, no, because Leslie era Leslie. So I'm the youngest on my mom's side, and I'm the oldest on my dad's side. You get it? So that's how it is. So I'm the baby on my mom's side. Like, there's 5, including me on my mom's side. So I have 3 sisters and 1 brother from my mom. And then for my dad, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. Yeah,
I'm like, fuck, the family tree, me putting it together. Wait, so ¿cuánta gente vivía, cuántos hermanos vivías con growing up?
All of them. Until everybody started getting married. Like, I've always been with my mom. Everyone's always on my mom's house, like, with my mom's side. We've always, and then everybody, pues, una se casó, y que esta se juntó, y que esa, and then going back and forth. But los que quedaban al final, like, when I graduated, was me and my brother.
How was it like, you know, your relationship with your siblings? Nos cuentas la relación con tus papás, but what was that like growing up?
We're all crazy. So imagine me with my attitude. My sisters are 10 times worse than me, but I love them. A part of me is also because of them. I have to give it to them. Like, they're so strong and they humble me all the time. Lo que me dicen, y even right now, I'll be like, okay, Anne, I'm still your sister. Like, ¿y tú qué? Like, they humble me to the max. I love them. They're super strong. I've learned from their mistakes too. The only reasons they've ever gotten mad at me is because they tell me que no, y yo lo hago, and they're like, didn't we tell you porque ya vivimos eso? Like, and they're kind of young, pero ya todos están casadas, they all have their life, but they're super strong women. That's just how we were raised. They're really hard on me though sometimes. They'll be like, I'll go through something, they're like, well, didn't we tell you? And I needed it.
Yeah.
Because mama will be like, no, you said, and then they're like, well, we told you? Like, what are you complaining about? Ni modo. And I think that's why I have that mindset. They're like, I don't know why she's like that. You guys taught me that. Like, sigue adelante, ni modo. I've seen my sisters go through so much that I learned completely imprinted in my mind that I've learned from them. Cosas pasan en la vida, ni modo, sigue adelante. Like, what are you going to do? Sit there and cry? Like, keep going forward. And that's what you got to do. So that's the biggest thing I've learned from them. And I appreciate them so much. And it's very hard for all of us to get along a little bit sometimes. Like, we cannot be more than an hour in a room all together because we'll be like, nos agarramos todas. Because we have such strong attitudes, like, in our own way. Like, some bien, like, they're strong and oof.
Pero carácter con amor, right?
Yes,
like, it's very much
perfect.
like, you know, you guys are telling each other your shit, sus verdades, pero luego el siguiente día.
Like, like, me están diciendo, we're telling each other por nuestro bien. Like, we're not, like, envidiosas. We're not, like, you know. I think it was because at any moment, we even tried to be a little bit jealous of each other. My mom's like, hey, stop.
Cálmense.
Hey, se calman o las calma, una de las dos. So we're like, oop. I act like I'm the only child. Like, I'm like, y'all don't matter to me. Like, but I feel like it wasn't too hard on myself. I love being alone. That's the thing. And I don't know if it's because I'm used to it or what it is. Maybe I have other issues. But I'm so used to being alone and I like it. But honestly, my household was never quiet. Even though they didn't live with us, we need our mom for everything. That's the thing. That's like, I think I am a mama's girl low key because anything, my mom. Like, even my sisters, my mom. And then we all tell each other, like, oh, you always need mom for everything. Well, you do too. Like, my mom's there. Pero she nos ayuda, but not to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, she still lets us go through it. And I'll explain a little bit more. Like, she still let me go through things and be like, I can only save you when you're about to, like, there's one like, okay, yo te, she lets me learn for sure. She's like, ni modo, like.
Deja que te hundas, pero no que te ahogues.
There you
Literally.
go.
She's like, all right, girl, ya aprendiste, ahora yo aquí estoy para rescatarte.
She's like, ya estás, you're okay? I'm like,
vente para acá.
Yeah.
Y no, obviamente platicamos un poquito de la relación con tus papás, con tus hermanos, pero yo quiero saber cómo era la Leslie en la escuela. ¿Cómo eras tú en la high school? Were you like the popular girl? Were you more of the outcast? ¿Eras peleonera? Nos dijiste que te peleas aunque sea una vez. Cuéntanos un poquito de eso.
Just a little bit, not too much. Obviously, sí me buscaban. I think there was, I don't think I was popular and I don't think I was an outcast. I think I was just in the middle. I would kind of mind my business, but still be in the mix, like still. But I had my little things with some people where, you know, they made it a little hard for me, or even family issues that I had in school because I have younger siblings that are in my age. All my cousins are kind of young, so some of them went to high school with me, some of them didn't. And I feel like that was, oh my God, because personal shit would be in my school too, so they would know like, oh, you're fighting with your cousin? I'm like, okay, like everyone just knows this, but I think it was high school was good. It was a little hard. There was moments where I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. Like girls would make it hard, pero tampoco no me dejaba. I'm like, oh, you want to mess with me? Like, okay. We didn't go to the same high school. That was the thing. She was in a different high school, and it was so weird that we're beefing from a different high school. Pero ella, like, honestly, it's always like boy stuff. Like, yeah, she was mad, and it wasn't too crazy though. It wasn't too, but we did end up fighting, but not in the school, like out at a park or something, and that was maybe it. But people did see. I know people were like, "Oh yeah, in high school she was kind of crazy." I was a little crazy. Yeah.
You're like, si me buscaban, me encontraban.
Yeah, I was really good in school, to be honest, but I was never in sports or nothing like that. Honestly, I was more like, I would take a purse to school. So I was like, that girl. I was that girl. And I'm
touching up in class, doing your makeup in class.
Yeah, I know. Yes. I'm like, this is my taunting me right now. But I was her. Like, me with my little Michael Kors, my Coach, like my bebe shirt. Like, I was that girl. Like, and now that I'm like, girl, how hard was it for you to get a backpack? Like, I don't know. My mom, I think, I don't know why I was like that, but that's how I was.
Did you have that like long brown bag que todos traían? You remember? There was a time, I don't know. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Oh, we're about the same. Yeah. About the same. I'm 26. So yeah, there was a time. I don't know if you guys remember, but I mean, I asked you guys when girls started wearing bags to school. There was this really popular like brown leather bag, and it was like a bolsa, and it was kind of like it was longer than a normal bag. Pero todas en mi escuela la traían. Maybe different locations.
Mine was shorter.
Oh, yours was like an actual purse.
No, babe, it was an actual purse.
Like it was your mom's purse.
Like the señora, like, mom, bolsa de esta. Like, I was that, yeah.
Y ni te cabía casi nada.
No, yeah. I remember this. I had my little Michael Kors with my, the spirals, that little, what are they called? It's like a spiral. What is it?
Binders?
A binder, but the thin ones, not the big bulky ones, the thin binder. I had paper in there, my notes, and like a few things, a pencil, a pen. Most of the time I would never have my pencil and pen. I'd be like, oh, just let me have one. Like, yeah, I wasn't really, honestly, in school was just not.
You were just going for the vibes.
Honestly, babe, I was just going with the flow. Don't even know how I graduated, but I did. That was one of my mom's things, like, no, you're gonna graduate. Like, and I'm like, okay. So I did graduate, and I did, but I don't know how I did it, to be honest. Hasta ahorita, I'm like, damn, I did that. I was that girl. I would still get ready every morning the same way. Everybody tells me, like, how do you have the energy to get up? I think it's just because I'm so used to it my whole life. Even in high school, I would do my little BB cream, my little mascara, like every morning. I've just always been.
What time would you wake up for school?
Super late. I was always late to that first period.
I was over here thinking you would wake up at 5 para tener
Oh, no, babes. No, one thing about me, I'm going to get my
You're
sleep.
on your time.
Yeah. They're on my time.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, yeah. Like, I was very much, now that I'm thinking, school was not in my head, which is bad. But I still graduated, and when I graduated, I got my certification for phlebotomy. So I still knew that I had to, like, oh, baby, like, life's going to get you if you don't. Yeah, and I was still working. I think that I was like that because I was already working. Like, when I was already a freshman, I think I was already hosting at Texas Roadhouse. So I already knew, like, I had my own money and stuff. And I was like, what do I need this for? Like, which was bad. That was horrible that I thought like that. But I was like, do I really need this?
You know what's so crazy, though? I think that happens a lot, especially when you get, like, a teen job. My sister también empezó a trabajar her senior year, empezó a trabajar en una taquería, and she didn't graduate because, no, she started working, I think, her junior year, because I feel like she became too obsessed with the, like, oh, I'm getting money. They're saying that there's an open shift. Prefiero ir a trabajar que ir a la escuela. And it really does change your mentality to, like, you know what? Like, maybe school ain't that important. Like Texas Roadhouse is calling. How did you get that job? What was that like?
How did I? Oh, I got it from one of my primas. She was working there. And then I was like, hey, like, are they hiring? She's like, yeah. I think I would see everybody work around me too. Everybody in my family is such a hustler. Like, they all just work. Like, regardless, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
They're going to get their money regardless. So I've always been around that. I think I started off as a host. I just started from there. Then a server. Then to-go orders. And then a bartender.
What did you hate about it? Porque nos estabas contando que odiabas ir a trabajar.
Just, you learn that people ask the most stupidest shit ever. Like, what did you just ask me? Like, for example, I'll be like, oh, like, welcome to Tik Tok House. What can I get for you? Can I start it off with any appetite? Da, 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 da. And they'll be like, no, I'll just have a cheeseburger with no cheese. Oh, so you want a hamburger? No, I want the cheeseburger. Ah, bueno, te voy a cobrar el dólar. Like, oh my God, stuff like that. Like, okay. It's not clicking up there. At the end of the day, we are dealing with hungry people. We're dealing with people that are so hungry. They just want to eat and get out or eat and have a drink. And I get that. So it took me a while to understand. I'm like, why are these people so mad? And then my manager's like, honey, they come here to eat.
Did you ever have an altercation with like a client?
Yes. I love Texas Roadhouse. I don't even know. I was there for years, probably like 6 years. So I don't even know cómo me aguantaron. No sé. Like, it would be something. And then like, they would be like, oh, Leslie, this is Leslie. Like, it's just Leslie at this point.
Déjenla en paz.
Like, just let her. So one of the times was because they don't let you talk. I don't know. At certain jobs, you're to requirement that you have to upsell. Yeah. Right? So you would have to talk in the beginning and upsell, like, hey, you want an appetizer? You want a strawberry lemonade? Like, something like, you know? And she wasn't letting me talk. So she was talking above me. So I let her talk. And then I did my introduction. I was like, hey, can I get you started with anything? And she was like, a Coke. Can I get you started with anything? And we were going back at it. So, like, I was going to say, I was doing my job. Like, girl, you didn't let me. And I was not having it either. I was like, well, girl, I have a life too. And I'm mad. So what? I don't want to be here. Well, she was there. And I guess she got bothered because she was like, she was just talking and talking. And then my manager was like, well, she has to upsell. Like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I don't want her here. Fire her. Like,
no mames. Wait, she went to like the manager to complain?
Yeah, she went to the manager to
complain. Y tú sin
miedo
porque tú sabías que no te iban a decir nada.
I was like, girl, it's my job. What are you going to do? Like, they're going to come up to me and like, what'd you do? Well, I should do my introduction. Like, y'all was told me to. And me too being my mona. Like, I already knew. I was just being like,
you're like,
stubborn.
bitch, you can play this game.
I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, oh my God, what my manager came to me. I'm like, oh, for real? I couldn't hold my laugh. And she's like, what did you do? And I'm like, well, it's because she's like, well, not supposed to fire you. And I'm like,
did you get fired or no?
No.
Like,
she did all that. So they just made me go apologize to her. And I did. I didn't mind.
What'd you say? Did you just walk up to her? She's like, my manager.
I'm sorry that you didn't let me do my job. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, no, I'm sorry. Like, maybe it was just miscommunication. Like, it's not, you know, what you think. Like, I was just trying to... And she just was not having it with me. She was like, no.
Pero yo pienso que también a veces, you know, even though, you know, you were giving her attitude back, a veces también esos clientes se creen como que si están pagando millones de dólares y se ponen con sus putas attitudes, you know. I worked at the OC Fair, right? I remember we were very big on the customer is always right. Like, that was our fucking, like, logo. Like, no matter what, even if the customer sounds like a crazy maniac, like, they are always fucking right. Yeah. Not with me, bitch. Like, you're wrong.
You're right at home, babe.
Literally. And I remember there was this one person that made a whole argument. We used to sell like hot dogs this big. And, you know, for some reason, he comes with this much left, like una mordida. And I'm not even exaggerating.
It wasn't good.
He wanted his like refund. No, not even that it wasn't good. This is too big to eat. Why would you guys sell something that is impossible to finish? I want my refund. Mi amor, ya casi te lo acabaste. Nomás te faltaba una puta mordida.
Sorry, sir.
And he was arguing. Yo como de que, wait, I know the customer's always right, but like, this is ridiculous.
No, I don't. I mean, I understand, like, as an owner to a business, I understand it. Like, yeah, they have to be right because so that we won't have problems. Like, just give it to them. Oh, no, babe, not with me. Especially when I'm having a day. Like, I come here every day and you think this is nothing new to me. So I knew she was not, like, having it with me. So I was like, So I think that there was been a few like times I was like, damn, I don't even know how much I lasted. But then I started like, you learn how to just
aguantarlos. Yeah, you're like, I'm only gonna see you.
Like,
for
it was
this
just
moment.
on my day, so I just knew that I'm coming here every day, so they have to understand like I'm here. It's my job every day. Like, you think I'm just like, what do you? So I just kind of understood it and kind of just was like, whatever about it.
Buffalo! Everyone's favorite slot game is live on DraftKings Casino. Hit the reels wherever and whenever to play for Wild Western wins. New players can play $5 to get a spin on the mystery wheel for a shot at up to 2,000 in casino credits. Download the app and sign up with code NOCHE. Enjoy the stampede with Buffalo on DraftKings Casino now. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 and over. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. One per new customer. Play $5 and spin wheel to receive between $10 and $2,000 in non-withdrawable casino credits for select games that expire in 168 hours. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends February 16th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
If you're struggling with your mental health, you can spend hours browsing online forums, scrolling social media, and reading expert advice to help you feel better. But while all these resources can be a good starting point, there's no replacement for real human relationships. It takes a real person to understand your human experience. So don't rely on generic advice online or on social media. Instead, use Alma to find a person who understands all the things that make you, you. That's why Alma makes it easy to connect with an expert therapist, a real person who can listen, understand, and support you through all your specific challenges. When you browse their online directory, you can filter by the qualities that matter to you. Then book a free 15-minute consultation with the therapist you're interested in seeing. Unlike other online therapy platforms that match you with the first available person, you can find someone you connect with on a personal level and see real improvements in your mental health with their support. Ustedes saben, amigas, the rough couple of months que he pasado. Hace más de 6 meses perdí a mi abuelito y honestamente yo siento que hubiera sido la oportunidad perfecta para empezar terapia, porque pues obviamente ustedes saben, dealing with grief is really hard and confusing, y siento como que si yo hubiera empezado terapia en ese momento, I feel like my grieving process would have been smoother. But it's never too late to start therapy. Better with people, better with Alma. Visit helloalma.com/Alan to get started and schedule a free consultation today. That's helloalma.com/ALAN. That is helloalma.com/Alan. Me estabas contando anoche que después de empezar a trabajar a los 19 años, you move out, almost kind of run away from home. Cuéntanos un poquito de eso. What was your headspace like prior to running away? And ¿cómo se enteraron tus papás? Or how did you tell them about the move?
Well, I was the big thing too, what scared my mom, I was recién operada. Like from my first BBL. I was recién operada and I was so mad. I remember, I think it was because I was already making my own money and I was getting home late. You know, obviously there's where I started going out. Like I started partying and stuff. And my mom was not having it with me. She's like, no, like, okay, estás trabajando. Like, ¿pa qué quieres salir? Like, it's so ugly. And I understand her. But me in my mind, I didn't understand in the moment. Yo nomás quería, have a good time. Like, what's the problem? Like,
You're
I'm having
I'm
a good
19.
time.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? What's the problem? Like, algo te puede pasar. And I'm like, no, like, nothing, no, what's going to happen? It's because we're so young. Hey, nada me puede pasar. I swore I was, like, unstoppable. Like, girl, nothing va a pasar. And I'm like, okay, girl. So then I got in a fight with her, and I had a few friends that lived in Houston, and I was like, se me hizo fácil, honestly. That, in my mind, I think about it, girl, you're recién operada. You're about to leave. You have such a good job. I did have so many years at Texas Roadhouse. I had also had a good relationship at Cheddar's because I also worked at Cheddar's and Alta. Like, I had 3 jobs.
Oh, shit.
So,
okay, hustler.
Yeah, I was doing so good. Oh, but Leslie se le ocurra. She's like, oh, no, I don't want this right now. I literally went to at the time I think I had just already let go of Alta and I was just at Cheddar's and Texas Roadhouse. Cheddar's was like, come whenever you want. Cheddar's was super good with me too. They were like, just whenever you want, we'll get your schedule. I was like, okay. Texas Roadhouse was like, what are you doing? Because I think they saw me grow up. Yeah. And I explained to the head manager. I was like, hey, like, I'm going to leave. Like, why? And I told them, and I remember they were like, Leslie. And he knew. It was so crazy. He knew. He told me, he looked at me, he was like, you know what? I know you're having problems with your mom. I literally saw you grow up here, Leslie. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, just, he's like, go have fun. Go have fun. Go. We'll be right here. They were just so family to me. It's crazy how you work somewhere and then you just create this bond, like literally my family. Like as much as I would fight with them, as much I'll be like, oh, I hate this job.
Like you knew they cared for you.
Yeah, they did on a deeper level because they saw me like, as a chiquita. And they knew that I was crazy. They were just like, oh my God, like she's crazy. And that's where I was already kind of starting TikTok too. And to me, so fast. So I went to Houston and I got in a fight with my mom. I was like, no, I don't care. I just got up. It's like, haz de cuenta, like I'm having like a normal week. I got up and left. I was like, oh.
Like after the fight. Like you're like, that's my last straw. It was like a little
argument and I was like, yeah, bye. Like, she was so mad and I remember she was like, déjame las llaves con tu hermana. And I think they thought that I wasn't going to do it. And because they thought that I wasn't going to do it, the more you tell me no, the more I wanted to do it. So then I ended up going to Houston, stayed with my friend a little bit. Then I ended up getting into something so toxic, extremely toxic, like a person that was not into good things, who wasn't doing good either. And de ahí me metí. So my mom found out that I was in something like that. Oh my God, she was not happy with me. And I think that was oh my God, to hear your mom say like, you don't think I think that what's going to happen to you? And I do remember like, yes, I had money saved because I was always a hustler. Yeah. So when I left, I had money saved. I was okay. I was not that dumb, I left with money and stuff. But then I got into a situation like that, and it was bad. And it was crazy to me because when my mom did pick me up after everything I went through there, to see her heart break, and I remember her looking at me, she's like, cuando tú te fuiste de la casa, ¿qué te llevaste? And I said, my car and money in my bank account. And she said, okay, ¿y con qué te fuiste ahorita? And she was picking me up. Yeah. She was picking me up.
Like, con qué te vas, basically?
Yeah,
like,
she was picking me up from Houston and the situation I was in or whatever. And she picked me up, and I remember, like, no one on TikTok knew. I was posting, like, nothing, like, hey, da, 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 da. And it was when I don't know if you've seen, I have different content, but it was the time I was drinking a Starbucks drink, and I was like, oh, like, this is my new, and they would just, that's what I was known for at that moment. And nobody knew anything. So when she picked me up and she told me, so con qué te fuiste? Like, tell me, answer my question. I said, I had $100 in my bank account, and I didn't have my car because something had happened to my car. And that broke, it was a reality check for me. I was like, wow. She's like, estabas muy bien. No más porque she wanted the best for me. And just because we don't realize that we're so young, I think I didn't let her, like, I didn't take the time to understand what she was trying to tell me. So it sucks that we have to live things. I had to live through so much that I didn't have to. I had so much trauma for no reason, talking about, like, just toxic stuff, like, and it's all fun and games till it's actually toxic, till your life is on the line, till you help somebody out for nothing, just so that they can be like, well, sorry,
like, figure it out. Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso. Obviamente te vas y nos cuentas that you met someone.
I met somebody. I mean, people knew about it a little bit. I met somebody, and honestly, I don't blame nobody. What I'm going to say about this is that I put myself in that situation. The thing, the way I think about it is that it's no one's fault but myself. Yo tengo la culpa because no one put me in that situation, pero yo. That's why if anything that I went through, because you put yourself there. So I knew when I was going through stuff, I was like, baby girl, you did it to yourself. Like, nobody, like, yes, it's all happening, but you entered somebody else's life and you already knew. Sometimes you don't realize the person you're with. Yeah. And I just met the person, and I was so young and gullible. I believed everything. I guess you could say, like, I went through a lot at a young age that you're not supposed to go through. I feel like people who are, like, casados and stuff go through it. And I went through something that mentally, I already gone through things. I don't feel like I could have gotten hurt more because todavía tenía lo de mi papá. Yeah. And then obviously I tell myself, like, you can't keep carrying that weight around. Like, I would never go about my life like, oh my God, about my dad. No, but did I have issues that I needed to fix? Of course. And then that added to it, and it was horrible. I feel like I would go to sleep crying every day, because stuff wasn't the way I wanted to. My life wasn't going to. And then I had this whole TikTok, like, oh, Lesley's so funny, like, Leslie this. And at the time, I was never personal with them there. Like, yes, I would only go on there and say funny stories that happened to me in my life, but I would never go on there. So, haz de cuenta that when I left and I went back to my mom's house, they obviously see, they're like, okay, she was just somewhere else and now she's here.
Did they know you were in a relationship?
Yeah, they did. They kind of just blew it off real quick. They kind of were just like, like, whatever. And I kind of just let it. I didn't say nothing. I had no reason for what. My goal when I left and I finally got to my room again, it felt so weird to me. I sat down in my room and I was like, I'm back here again. And it's completely different. And obviously my followers on TikTok, because I never stopped my grind. No matter what I was going through, no matter if I was in my car crying by myself, missing my family, no matter what, I was always hustling, posting, and doing what I got to do because I was not about to do that. Yeah. I felt like I was going so good, and if I would have stopped, it would have just, it was already worse. So I was like, I'm going to make it even worse for myself, and this is what I wanted. I knew that I had goals, and I wasn't going to let it just because I was going through certain stuff, and it was very hard for me. It was super, 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 super hard. I never think at a young age would ever want nobody to go through that. And the sad part about it is that because my mom told me, my sisters told me, they're like, you don't have to be in a situation like that. Like, ¿qué estás haciendo? Like, it was just super bad. They knew a lot of what was going on, a lot of red flags. Pero yo didn't see them apparently. No, I'm kidding. I saw them, but I felt like, I think my breaking point was just where I told myself, like, girl, you gotta love yourself. You do. I feel like as a lot of us are like, oh, should we leave? Like, girl,
leave.
Like, love yourself enough to leave. Like, why are you making yourself go through that? Like, don't do that to yourself. Like, ¿para qué estás haciendo eso? And I love myself enough to be like, all right, like, yeah, Leslie, like, that's enough. Like, there's enough that's been done to you that you're like, okay, like, and I felt like I left okay. Like, I left good and everything was good, and I left the way it should have been left. The only sad part about it was that I had to start over again, pero ni modo. I was like, well, the one thing I like to say a lot to when they ask me, they're like, oh, should I go back? I'm like, no, go back. Because I went back so many times. Andre, like, you're going to learn your lesson hasta que agarras a un punto just till you don't want to return. Yeah. So, I mean, go back if you can go back, if you want to go back, until you learn. That's what I tell everybody. Like, you have to go back. Tienes que vivirlo. One thing that I've learned so much is that I will not, if you're so stubborn, you're not going to learn till you go through the worst moments in your life. And you're like, or even question. Yeah. You're like, oh, hold up. Like, there's donde vas a entender hasta que entiendas. Like, that's what my mom let me do. It's like, even though it hurt her, I know it hurt her. Like, me dolía que it hurt her. Like, she was like, you're just so terca. Like, oh, I don't think I learned there, but I think finally I capté, and I went back. And I went back hard. Like, I went back, and when I sat the next day when I went back the next day, I gave myself like a day. And then the next day, boom, on live, hitting it every day on live because I only had $100. Yeah. I'm like, girl, you still gotta, like, you gotta get yourself together.
Trabajarle,
yeah. So I went back and boom, I remember there's where I was like, damn, like, you can do this. I started making like 2,000 on live. Yes. Like, every week I was like, boom, 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 boom. But we're talking about lives from like 6 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when live had just started booming. And I was hitting it hard, keeping going. And then I started getting invited to LA trips and stuff like that. And then tocó that like 4 months after, I went to this little party in LA and I met Joey. There's where I met Joey. At the time, we had a group of friends in common. I think it was at that party that we met that was like, oh, like, we ever since that day, we kind of already...
Who made the first move? Like, ¿cómo pasó eso? Danos detalles.
I think, who made the first move? I think it was both of us. But more me a little bit because he's still a little shy. Like, I'm more like a little bit more, you know.
Out there, yeah. So you were like eyeing him down the whole time.
I was like...
Tú con tu bebida y tú aquí echándole el ojo.
Yeah, so no, I think I saw him walk out by himself at the party, and I was like, where's he going? And I followed him. I was like, you're okay? Like, he looked like he was, and we kind of he was like, no, I think I'm just going to leave. I was like, no, pues me voy contigo. And then we went to go eat after. We went to go eat tacos, and I remember we ate tacos in the truck, and we talked like the whole night. We just talked, and then I realized the way he was. But the thing is, you don't realize when we would go live together before, we kind of knew a little bit about each other. But the way we were on live, we'll be like, ew. And I'm like, ew, you. Like, we were not. You could tell if you would have seen us on live, you'll be like, oh, estos no se quieren. Like, and it's so weird, I guess, how things work. Because when we saw each other, we were like...
You're like, okay, yeah.
Hi. So then when we find, like, I guess, obviously, when you get into a deeper conversation. So I started, it was like, Joy was like a breath of fresh air for me, honestly. Something new, completely different. So I felt like it was new to me. And I think what most caught my eye is that I would try, I'm going to say try, I would try to be toxic, and he'll be like, so unfazed. He'll be like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, because I'm so used to being toxica. Yeah. Like, and so I'm not that toxica, but I'm still like, you know, I'm like, when I hear like a girl talking to him, I'm kind of like,
¿Y quién te está hablando?
I'm like, oh, hey, like, let me into the car. So when he tried, he was just so, and it was so new to me. I'm like, oh, there is people like this. And I had never met somebody like that where he was so unfazed. And he would actually talk about it. He'd be like, okay, well, you don't talk about it. He would, like, me decía, like, okay, well, like, the clear, like, he wouldn't be, the thing about it, he wouldn't be toxic back. You do realize we could talk about it. I'm like, oh, people talk? I'm like, oh, we could talk about it? So that's why I'm like, okay, that's why I wanted to explain first why, like, how Joey is just such a breath of fresh air to me. And obviously, I'm so used to it. And especially, too, because my mom, all my sisters, everyone's toxic. Yeah. Like, we're like, ¿a dónde vas? ¿Y con quién? ¿Y quién está ahí? And who you talking to? And if we don't know the female, explícanos, because what's up?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm just used to. So when I finally met it, I was like, wow. So I think that's why it worked out and it was there. We did have a little moment, obviously, where we had to take a break. And it was more because I'm telling you, it was just so new to me. I mean, you can't compare years of what I've known and being tóxica y que where y que who and showing up to places y que esto lo otro, because that's what I was used to. Yeah. To finally being. So when it was new to me, I think it was like a shock to me. So I started getting scared because I was like, no, there's no way. Like, there's no way. Like, it's too good to be true. Like, please fuck up. Like, I'm waiting for the fuck, because that's what I was used to. Like, I'm waiting for the fuck up. Like, you either do something. Like, you was either cheating or porque hablaba or because we didn't get it or something, you know? So I was like, pero nunca pasó nada. Until, like, one day it was, like, the smallest argument. And I guess because of, I don't know if I was going through it or what, I was just, like, not having it. And I guess I didn't let him talk. Like, we're having a normal, and usually, you know, I do. And I guess I got back to my old ways, got to me. And I was like, no. Like, that's how it was. I was real, even with, like, people before or whoever I was talking to, whatever, I was real strong. Like, yo no me dejaba de nadie. De ahí no me sacabas. Like, I would rather look loca que verme pendeja. Like, even if you were wrong, you were like, Yeah, like, no. Like, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. Like, that's how I was. Yeah, lo que yo decía, yeah. Like, that's how I've always been like that. Like, that's what I was used to. So I think my old ways kind of got to me where I didn't realize, like, hey, like, it's not like that, you know? And my mom, that's why me and my mom had an altercation, because she was like, Leslie, por favor, like, you know, it's not like that. Deja, like, you know, talk about things. Like, hazlo bien. Like, he's a good guy. Y yo no. Hasta me puse con mi mom. Like, I was like, no. And it sucks that we don't realize that, like, if you're not completely healed, it'll come out, babe. It's going to come out. You think it's not in there, but it's in there. Like, va a salir porque va a salir. And I didn't realize, like, oh, shoot, like, and well, in a whole week, everyone saw it. Like, all of TikTok, they're like, what? And it just took for me, one thing about my mouth that I know that it can get somebody riled. Like, if my hands don't show it, my mouth will. Like, I'll go off. Like, I know what I'm capable of. How was that like? Obviamente, you know, todos los seguidores se enteraron. You know, you everybody guys was saying so much. You guys had like a very public breakup. Yes. What was going on en tu mente? Obviamente, you were going through a real breakup, you know, like not just in person, but online. But what was it like having to live this breakup, not just in person, but also online? It was so horrible. Next time, mejor me quedo callada. Like, just pick up the phone and call him. Like, babes, you don't got to do all that. I would have told myself, like, you know what? Just call him. Like, there's no need for that. And I literally could have done that. And I don't know. I think because I was so sad. I was like, what was going on with me? I look at myself. I was like, what? That whole week, I think it was just so much in 1 week. I think more because it was too good to be true. Yeah. I'm like, Leslie, it's not always that bad. Come on. Like, I'm always just used to going through something that when I wasn't going through something, I was just like, ¿de dónde saco? Yeah, where? And that's horrible. And I knew that I needed help. I knew that I needed, like, to fix myself. You know, obviously, él también tenía sus problemas, but mine too. Like, girl, this is the bigger problem here. Is kind of you. Like, you need your attitude the way you are. Like, si no te compones, nadie te va a aguantar, basically. That whole week was horrible. Oh, my God. I just remember waking up, and I was on Pancho's page. I was like, oh, my God. ¿Qué hice? Like, what did I do? And it was just me just talking, like, just basically crashing out. And I remember I was like, pues, ni modo. I'd go live. That's all they would ask me about Joey. Al principio, he hadn't been vocal online? No. Like, it was just you yapping? I provoked it, low-key. Okay. Like, it was me yapping, low-key. But everybody else, obviously, they noticed. Obviously, they were going to ask, like, hey, and obviously, if I don't say nothing, and si no les dices, you better say. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all, if you go through something on the internet, don't think you can go on there and say some half story. No, babe. You better go on the internet if you're going to say a story and say a full story with details, y qué pasó, y qué no fue, y qué vino. Because, no, de ahí no te van a acabar. They will haunt you hasta que dices. They do not mess around. The internet does not mess around. You better come with the story. Si vas a decir algo, dilo bien. Si no, no lo vas a. And the crazy thing is that I already learned that. Like, I already had known that if you're not going to say something fully, don't say it at all. So I already was like, girl, yes, ya lo sabes. I was so mad. I think I was more mad at myself. Like, why, Leslie? Why? But because I'm so stubborn and yo lo que yo digo. And that whole week was horrible. Honestly, after that, Pancho posted it, CHISME page just started posting it. That week, I think like a day after I crashed. Oh my God. That was the biggest wake-up call. Mind you, oh yeah, hold up. There's a part I'm missing here because it's like so then they post that. I was already at my new apartment. I think there's where they knew already, like, oh, something serious is going on because I had just got a new apartment and I posted it. My mom was trying to make me understand, like, Leslie, like, mira las cosas bien, mente clara, like, fría. Like,
ella Team Joey.
Yeah. She loves Joey. Yeah. She was like, hey, like, she has a point. I understood. Pero mente cuando no está fría, like, when I'm mad, and I'm worked on it. When I'm mad, I'd rather just leave me alone. I'll calm down, not say nothing, get off my phone.
Yeah.
Porque una enojada de estas, oh
Explota.
my God. Yeah, I was so mad. I was so mad. Like that. You know me sacabas. I was mad at everybody. I wasn't talking to my family. My mom, when she tried to even explain to me, like, hey, háblame las cosas bien. She was trying to make me understand. No, yo no. Mind you, we were having an argument. La, 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 la. She was like, la, la. I was like, not hearing her. La, 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 la. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to move out. Because my mom's like, my house, my rules. That's en mi casa, mis reglas, entiende. Right? She was still serious with me. She wasn't playing. She wasn't messing around with me. She was telling me, like, vas a entender porque vas. And I was like, oh, your house, your rules? Okay, well, I'm going to go get my own house. So I went to go get my own apartment. It took me like I don't know how I did this. In 2 hours, I was already set. I was already in my apartment. Mind you, I just took what was in my name. Like, I didn't want to get her mad either. My mom's like, llévate lo que te venía. I was like, okay. So I took my vanity, my TV, and a few of my clothes and stuff, but I didn't take my bed because obviously she got me the bed. So I was like,
En el piso.
Yeah, so I had the next day, I think I got my apartment, and the next day after my apartment, the light came on, and then I believe I stayed with my friends, and then I just woke up early. I didn't even sleep, to be honest. I slept like 2-3 hours, and I was always on my phone, and then 2-3 hours, I took a nap, and then the next morning, I got up and went to go get a bed cash. I went to get stuff I needed for my house. And
all of that happened during the breakup. Like, everything was happening online.
Babe, all of that happened in a week. I was already set in my apartment in a week. Not even like, probably like 4 days. Because I was so mad. I was like, okay. And I'm always big. I've always saved money. I've always been about my money. That's how I was been taught. Save your money para tus cosas cuando pasa algo. Pues pasó algo. So pasó algo. So I got my things or whatever. And then, okay, boom. I'm sitting in my apartment thinking everything's chill. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Like, bueno, yo bien, ¿verdad? So then the next day I had a promo to do in Cali. So then I get up in the morning and I'm going to go get something. I stop at my friend's house. I leave my friend's house. Mind you, this whole thing of Joy is still going on. There's CHISME pages going. So then I'm driving. I try to realize that morning. I try to understand what was going on with me. I don't know if it was the desveladas. I don't know if it was because I was going through it. I don't know if I was crying when I crashed. I'm not going to lie. I just remember driving. I don't think I was trying to do it to myself, to be honest. I don't know what was going on with me. I just remember that I kept going. So the car in front of me, the light was green. She stopped. And in my head, ¿qué pensabas, Leslie? Like, why didn't you stop too? I kept going. But I don't know why she stopped at the green light. So then the crash happens. I rear-ended her from the back. My car's like small now, right? I had a Karlette. And I didn't have my seatbelt on. But not having the seatbelt saved me because my legs would have not been on my legs right now. I just remember that, boom, and I went to my seat to the back. Se fue todo para abajo, ¿verdad? So I went like, I guess the pressure. Yeah, because of the pressure. Boom. Like, I didn't even lay down. I basically, my whole body, como estoy chiquita, like, it just to the back. I went to the back. So when I was in the back, I fainted. And then I remember getting up and like just like blinking and then seeing the lady. I remember seeing the lady, but she never came to like check on me. And then I finally get off of the car and I go to her and I'm like, ¿Estás bien? Right? And she goes, yo pensé que estabas muerta. And I was like
it was that bad.
She's like, yo pensé que estabas muerta. I'm like, okay, girl, but you can't. Well, first of all, I was like, okay, but you can't go check on me in my head. I'm like, you couldn't even like, so what if I needed mouth to mouth? What's crazy to me, I guess like the adrenaline they say, I had never gone through something like that. I was so calm. I hugged her. I'm like, ¿Está bien? And she's like, sí. And I hugged her. I'm like, she was crying. And she's like, es que yo no tengo nada. Like, she didn't have papers. She didn't have, no tenía nada ella. Like, you know, I was like, yo la voy a ayudar. Like, don't worry. I was like, pero ¿por qué paró? And she's like, no sé, es que yo paré. And she didn't have, and I understood she was frustrated. She was mad. And she was scared because the police were going to come. I'm like, no, like, está bien. I knew that we could do an agreement. Like, we can agree.
Like on the side, pull up. Yeah.
And the cops will be good. I was like, yo hablo con ellos. Like, that's fine. Like, you don't got to do nothing. Yo la ayudo. So she didn't have money to... My car was a total loss. I helped her tow her car back. I guess she went with the tow truck. I was going to Uber her, but she can't go back to the... And I had a flight to catch, mind you, because I was already... Yeah, I had a flight to catch.
Yes,
So then I get that situated. And I'm still I'm calm. The whole time I'm calm. And I can't even call my mom because we're
fighting.
Yeah. I felt so ugly. So the only person I called was my brother, the first person I called. Because he was still kind of... My brother was the whole time, él no se mete. And I'm his baby sister in his head. Y él siempre me va a cuidar. And I called him and I was like, hey. And he's like, well, are you okay? Like, you know. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, ni modo. Keep going. Like, they always tell me, ni modo. That's literally my family's thing. Ni modo, keep going. Like, cosas pasan y ya. And I was like, don't tell mom. And I just felt like it was going to be more heavy on my mom. Yeah. Like, though I just moved out and then boom, she almost like,
Casi se me muere. Yeah.
So then, watch, I still get home and I have to shower because I have to go I'm still going to catch a flight. My friend's like, you're going to catch the flight. I'm like.
So you weren't hurt?
No, watch. So then I finally get home and I have black tights on. So I can't see blood. Mind you, I can't see blood. So I don't know what was going on. And I did feel like my legs kind of hurt, right? So then I take off my pants, blood, like everywhere. I had scratches. I have one video that I posted when I posted my new car that my legs, you can see the bruises, but I had scratches and bruises, like blood. And I was like, but that still didn't click in my mind. And I'm like, well, they don't hurt. I told my friend's like, no, Leslie, like, go get checked. I'm like, nah, I'm okay. But my legs were, like, I would go like that to the.
Te exprimía la sangre.
Yes. And I was like, oh my God. But it was more like a scratch that I had that was blood, like, coming out.
Yeah.
And I guess where my legs, like, pushed out, I still don't even know how that worked. I still don't know how I was in the backseat. It was crazy. Finally, I end up catching my flight and coming to Cali and como si nada. And I was still going live and no one knew that I had just crashed.
¿Y no porreada en los next days, nada?
Yeah. The next day I get up and I'm like, oh, like now I feel it. My whole body hurt. My legs, I can barely walk, mind you. But I had to go do a promo. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And I still went.
Y nadie se enteró del crash afterwards?
I have friends still here in Cali, so one of the girls helped me and they were there for me. It was a horror. It was so sad. It was so sad that I don't wish that upon anybody. I did my best to help the señora.
You guys were broken up for 4 months, right?
Yes.
Was it no contact broken up, or were you guys still like low-key talking?
No. There was no contact.
So not even when you guys were beefing it that week, where you guys were like, ¿Qué estás diciendo, Leslie, online?
Oh, no, yeah, I would send beautiful messages. And we were talking about that yesterday. I was like, do you remember? He was like, yeah. I was going off, very much going off. I was mad. I was like, no. And my mom, like, I blamed him for everything. Yeah. Like, it was, aunque yo también tenía la culpa, both of us. And everybody was just saying the most. Everyone was like, no, this. Everybody was just going off on whatever they thought. Get cheated. Always the first thing that they always say. No, it was just because I'm stubborn and I'm terca and I need to understand things. That's why. And no, we didn't talk at all. Para nada. Nothing. Not a peep. Nothing. Like, he would never text me back. I was always the one that would text him on a random fucking Tuesday. Be like, oh, I fucking hate you. Like, I was so mad. Like,
and no reply.
No. I'm telling you, he's always to the like.
Nomás tú te desahogabas, güey.
Yeah, like, he was like,
he
was like, ay, está loca. Like, you probably already knew, but I knew that he does love me. Like, I know he does. He meant well. What happened when we started talking again was a friend that we have in common. He was on FaceTime with him. And I guess they were like playing around with him about me. And then they brought me up or something happened that I was brought up. And then they add him to the FaceTime call. And I guess they thought I wasn't going to answer. Oh, I answered. I was like, hello.
¿Y tú sabías que estaba él con ellos?
Yes. On the FaceTime call. Like, it was all three of us. It was like a merge, joint FaceTime call. And we exchanged some nice words.
So it was like crazy. It was your first time talking after the whole scandal.
Yes, the first time talking after the whole scandal.
No me respondiste al puto texto que te mandé.
We're going up. Me dijo hasta que no yo, and we needed it. We needed que nosotros, even if it was like that, I felt like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I kept saying it. Well, I kept saying, I was like, no, I'm not going to get back with Joey. On live, I know there's screen recordings. I was like, no, I'm not going to get back. And I'll tell everybody, que no. But I knew that the reason I had such strong emotions, because no, mom, it's not even when I broke up, other situations that I've gone through, I wasn't that passionate.
Yeah.
I didn't even say nothing about the other one, que fue peor, that they actually did something to me and that it was actually a serious problem. I didn't say nothing. With this one, one little problem and I was already, this is how I knew. I already knew, like, deep down. Por eso me dolía bastante. I was like, oh, my God, like.
So when you would go online and you would say all these things, would you get off and be like, fuck?
No.
No, you're like, I said what I said.
I stand what I said what I said, like, and I stand on it. And pues ni modo, like, I said it in the moment. That's just how I felt in the moment, you know? And tenía este coraje que no, and if I saw him, I'll be like, well, if I could fight him, I probably would have. Like, I'm like, what's up? But no, I finally, we talked. And then after que nos dijimos hasta que no, we finally talked normal by ourselves. And then we went out to eat and we talked and it was baby steps very much. For like a whole month, we kind of baby steps.
Just
nobody
like
knew.
friend vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, nobody knew. Even the people that didn't know that we talked, nobody knew. I'll be like, nah, he's there. Or nah, but I was seeing him. And when I saw him, I was like, my baby, like the feelings start coming back again. I was like, okay, I maybe do like him. And we kind of just talked about things. We finally come to an agreement. And I think it was a simple conversation that could have been before, like a little bit sooner that we had the conversation. But I still felt like I needed to heal a lot and fix things more with my mom and stuff because it got really ugly. It did. And she means well, you know. I was very mad, but she means well. Like, I knew her point of trying to get me to understand. And I feel like I wanted him to understand me too. And he just, I think more what we needed to do is for me to communicate more.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, you know, not be so. And it's good. It's good to be independent. It's good to be a strong, you know, good girl. But sometimes, like, just let somebody take care of you, you know, like, just breathe. And I needed to breathe. He was like, hey, I think that's what it is. We do balance each other out. When it comes to stuff like that, like relationship-wise, I think he does balance me out a lot. Like, he's more like, I can be screaming or doing the most like crazy me. And he'll be like, okay, you did? And I'll be like, yeah.
I think it also depends a lot on like knowing how to like go about situations, you know, because in my relationship, I feel like my boyfriend's very you.
Really?
And I'm very Joey. And
Okay.
el sentido that he'll like bitch about like something that doesn't need to be bitched about.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, so chill, right? And he'll be like, da-da-da, and he's getting mad that I'm so chill. And I'm like, okay, I just want you to like listen to yourself. Why you're getting this riled up? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
And he'll be like, no, but you don't get it. I'm like, I get you though. I get you.
But there's a way to talk about things.
Yeah. Like, I think es el saber cómo platicar y el saber cómo, you know, no todo tiene que ser un pleito. No todo tiene que ser un pinche, you know, whole
like, no, but I
want to
fight.
Did you grow up feeling always attacked? Or where do you think that stemmed from?
I think it's because I'm telling you, I think not attacked, but they're so strong. Like very.
I feel like maybe you grew up okay, maybe it's different with you and my boyfriend, but I always tell my boyfriend, like, you know, ya cuando estás con alguien for so long, I always tell him, you know, like, I understand, you know, where your attitude or where, you know, this is coming from because he grew up, you know, con su mamá being a single mom. His dad's side of the family would talk shit on the mom, no la bajaban de puta, you know, y le decían a ellos como niños. So I always tell my boyfriend, I was like, you, desde que yo te conozco, you're on attack mode. Te dice alguien algo y whether it can be like something that can help you or not, tú rápido. ¿Cómo defenderte? Even if it doesn't need to be defender. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know what, babe? You're right.
It is that. And also because where I'm from, also, everyone's like that. Todos quieren pelear. Like, everyone's like, and nadie sabe, like, calm down, you know, not everything's like, that's why coming from over there, from Texas and coming to California, like, you guys are like, la, 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 la. And then Texas is like super serious, super like, what's up? I mean, we're funny. We like, you know, but everybody over there is very like that. Like, and I think it is, I don't know why we're like, I just noticed that me having a therapy session.
You're like, fuck, why am I like this? You're analyzing bitch right now.
Like, fuck. No,
but I think it does kind of stem from childhood. You know, maybe you didn't feel like you had to defend yourself, but maybe like you said, you know, you and your siblings siempre, you know, de gritos o se decían cosas. So maybe internally you're like, no, I need to have the fucking last word, bitch. Like, I need to be, you know. So it does come from a lot. So it's good that he's your balance and he's like, mira, mi amor. yo sé que quieres tener la razón, or yo sé que quieres pelear X or whatever, pero podemos platicar. You
because
know,
I can be like super loud, but as soon as they're loud with me,
you're like, oh shit.
why are you screaming at me?
So you're
I'm
soft too.
What? Screaming at me? Like, he's like, you were just screaming at me. I'm like, yeah, but that's
only
me.
I could scream.
Yeah, but only me. And I think because I get my way with him too, I think that's like that. I mean, I've always gotten my way, but like, I mean, in a different way. Like, he does it in like a calm way. And that's crazy because he hasn't really had like a lot of relationships. Like, he's had probably like, not a lot. Like, I'm like his first very, very serious relationship. So I feel like it's crazy how he already knows. Like, he's like, okay. And it took a lot. It obviously took us for us to break up for him to understand. Because this time around, he's more like, he already knows. He knows me. He knows who I am. He knows what I want. And I think it was that too, that because I was so sure what I wanted. Y si en el momento las cosas no están como yo las quiero, I crash out. And it shouldn't be like that. Like, girl, calm down. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that deep. Like, you need to relájate y todo va a estar bien y todo su tiempo. I think there's where I've always been like, okay, everything has its moments. If it's not your time to shine, it's somebody else's time. Let them shine and your time will come to shine. Because when it's able for you to shine, you're going to shine big. Y si no es para ti, no es para ti. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing. And I had to live through things and si no es para ti, no es para ti. Like, learn it. Once you learn that, everything's easy. Because something happens, you're like you see, like I had a whole crash and then I was like, well, I gotta go do my job. Like, ni modo, like.
How was your healing during those months before you actually started talking and getting back together? Did you prioritize any healing or were just more like, no, he's wrong, moving on?
I just didn't think about it. Honestly, I'm very like when I'm going through something, I start to tend to get myself really busy. I start to get busy. I start to do things. I start, it's crazy. I honestly, you could see like, when we broke up, I was posting, I was going live a lot, I was doing what I gotta do, like, and I did what I had to be done. The way I healed, I feel like, was time heals. Nothing else healed me but time. Like, nada. Like, it was just el coraje, it needed to pass. Mis pensamientos, like, I had to just
process everything.
Process and kind of just, and think about it. Be like, girl, you got out of something. You finally got somebody super good and you're like, what is it? Like, I needed to and I needed it. I feel like I needed the crash. I feel like I needed to live by myself, completely by myself. Like, I needed to understand life and I finally understood it. But the sad part about it is that I understood it when I was there, like laying by myself in my house. I understood that this is what my mom didn't want. This is lo que no querían para mí. Like, my family was like, this is what we didn't want for you. Y te fuiste metiste donde, but it was because the more they told me no, and my mom understood that. My mom learned with me. She's like, mejor no te digo nada.
Yeah.
Mejor no te digo nada. Yeah, and it's worked. And ya no me dice nada, and I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that.
You're like, maybe I should listen to that.
Yeah,
you know what is true though? Yeah. Tienes que llegar a ese momento. Until you realize mi boyfriend tiene su sister, right? Mm-hmm. Tenía un exnovio que para nosotros no era bueno para ella, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and he wasn't, era mierda el güey. And we would tell her, y entre más le decíamos, más encaprichaba con él. I got to a point where I told my boyfriend, ya déjenle en paz.
Yeah, just let her
ya déjenle, porque you guys are fighting with her y ella en su mente está de que
she's not processing the problem that she's supposed to be processing. Right, she's processing the problem that she has with you guys and not the actual problem. Yeah,
like she's not realizing, like you don't realize, like, oh, maybe that they're telling me that because, like you said, quieren que no batalle or que for me to not go through a heartbreak or whatever. I think
and it sucks that the first thing we think is, no, they just don't want me to be with them. No, honey. It's because they don't want you to go through it. But unfortunately, I think just going through things. But going through things helps you.
Yeah.
Like, it helps you. Like, a lot of the reason, I don't ask myself no more why. I'm like, ni modo. Because of that, I think I've been through so much that I'm like, okay, I get it.
It gives you perspective, though. Yeah. I think it's good. A veces you have to go through shit. You have to, aunque todos te digan, no hagas esto, le vas a batallar. You have to go through that batalla because it does give you a different perspective. Like, even with my cuñada, she went homeless with this guy. She did the most with him. But now when I talk to her, obviamente ahorita she's healed and everything. It's been so long. When I talk to her, I'm like, damn, dude, that's crazy. That's a part of your story. And that builds one character and it gives you a different perspective that maybe I could never have. You know what I mean? Because I didn't go through any of the things that she went went through. You know, obviamente, you guys get back together. Y llega el momento that you guys shock everyone that follows you guys.
No, literally.
I started being like, wait, weren't they just...
Weren't y'all just beefing?
Literally.
Like, honestly, the thing about the internet, I have like this thick skin and I care for 2 seconds. Like, yes, you'll see me respond sometimes to a comment. My mind, the way it works, guys, is that me puedes decir algo and I'm like, sí, tararara. Anyways, ¿qué voy a comer? Like, it's just, like my ADHD will just like catch. And I'm glad I have it because if I were to sit there and be like, no, pues es que dijeron esto, lo otro, no, nunca acabo, girl. Like, I'm not, like, I'm done. I think when I was younger, sí me afectaba bastante. But then I was like, nunca los tienes conformes. Like, never. You're never going to have them happy. And why do I care about these people? No los conozco. The only people I care about is the ones I see a lot, like on my chat. And the people that follow me, that show me love, those are the people. And I see it. Believe it or not, guys, you see people, like when you see an account, I'm like, I've seen this account a lot. Like, they be liking my stuff a lot. Like, I see it. So I'm like, no, I don't care. And I'm glad. I've always been like that. Like, me vale madre. I don't care. I mean, when I was young, that's how I don't care. And I think it has to do with a lot of issues. Like, I've been hurt so young that I'm just like, People are like, oh, it's because she's da-da-da-da and this and that. Babes, if I could sit there all day and ask you guys to fix my life, I would. The thing is that there's going to be so many answers that I'm not going to listen to nobody. Like, I'm not. So it's hard. Like, they see us go through big things. Like, when I got back with Joey, I was like, I just don't care no more. Me vale madre. Te voy a enseñar lo que yo quiera. Like, it's my platform. I think the way I see TikTok is that you go into my page, you're walking into my house. Yeah. That's my house. You're stepping in my house. Welcome. See my life. And I really wish I could tell them more. I stopped, obviously, being a little bit more personal with them because, oh, my God, everyone. And I was fine with it. Cuando quiero chismear, les digo. Cuando no me importa. But when it's serious stuff that I know mentally I cannot mess with it right now, ni digo nada. Yeah. That's why there's certain things that I didn't say and they don't know because I'm like, for what? Like that whole time when I was with the whole thing with Joey, I knew that if I would have said that I crashed, I know that there was going to be people that were going to be like, pues eso es lo que te pasa.
Or se quiso matar por el desamor.
Like, oh my God, no, that's not what we're going to do. Because no, one thing about it too that I've learned is that I used to be on there and I know a lot of people see me. I used to go on there and go off on people. And that's what I'm known for too. Like my response, and I'll do it here and there. I'll give them like a little, but I've learned. I'm very strong and I'm with the fact that, okay, I don't like you.
Chido. Ni te conozco.
Does your water not run for not liking me? I'm so sorry. And for any girls watching this, when someone doesn't like you, babe, that's the energy they're wasting on you. I'm not going to waste my energy on why don't you like me and try to please you, babe. I got bills to pay. I have goals that I want to do. Is this going to help me go on a fucking trip to Tokyo or Japan or somewhere or to Paris? No, babes. And if your water's still running in your house, you're okay with not liking me. You're fine. You're going to be okay. Like, it's just certain things. I think I'm too real. Sometimes I'm like, damn, like they don't like to hear it, which is good. But I like to back to the entertaining a little bit apart. I think that's what I want people to see me as. I'm there to entertain you guys. Like, you don't gotta like me and that's fine. I want people to laugh. Because para la no querer y querer, you guys are very clear. Yeah. But I want them to see me and to entertain. That's what I love to do. Like, I think entertain the most that I can.
They're wasting their time because it literally does take a lot of energy.
I don't know if they notice, but the most people that they don't like, the more they make money. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Have you guys not noticed that? The more you don't like a person, the more they make money. Mejor esperarle. Even though you don't like it, just ignore it. If you don't like me, ignore it. Because te va bien a ti. The more you comment on my video, the more my video goes up, the more I get paid. Like, they don't realize how it works. I'm like, no. When you don't like somebody, just completely
unfollow, block y ya.
Yes.
Déjalo en eso. Pero la gente, ¿sabes lo que es? Yo pienso que la gente se ataca en el, you know what, like, my life is miserable. Yeah. Yo pienso que le puedo hacer la vida imposible a esta persona. Yeah, sometimes you can, you know, a veces hay cosas que nos duelen because al fin del día somos humanos. Pero, güey, como dices tú, I'm that same type of person that, like, I'll read a comment, I'm like, fuck, like, me dieron en donde más me duele. But then I'm like, whatever. Yo sí, oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, I have another interview tomorrow.
I'm like, oh my God. I gotta go eat. Like it's like that. Like, that's just, and some people, unfortunately, not everyone's like that. Yeah. And unfortunately, some people, it's hard. That's why I think a lot of people are scared of social media. But see, if you're the type of person que te vale madre, babe, you'll make so much money on the internet. If you do not give a fuck, I guarantee you go on the internet and you're going to make money. Because even at that, I'm still kind of aware. Like, I'm not, in the beginning, I was that I didn't care. Me valía madre, decía todo, hacía de todo, do everything. But now I'm more cautious because I'm like, okay, you still got to think, like, how do you want to be perceived? And you got to realize that it stays there forever. And you have to realize that we get paid, obviously, not for people liking us. We get paid for our views. It's up to you if you want to care for people to like you. Unfortunately, I care a little bit to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make them that mad. But if I want to go on there, I know how to make them mad. But I don't do it because I just don't want to be there. I'm not there in that state of mind. I want to be happy. I don't care about that right now. There's people doing it right now that are making people mad. I just want to be there to entertain. You got to think in your mind, like, ¿qué quieres hacer? And right now I'm in the stage of my life, like, I don't want to piss off nobody. Maybe in the beginning I did a little bit. But now I just want to entertain, make them laugh. And it's because there's so much going on in the world already that I'm like, okay, I just want to make you guys laugh. Yeah. Forget a little bit. I think that's how I've always thought of TikTok. That app is there to make us laugh.
Quiero platicar de algo que te pasó recientemente. You know, you guys get back together.
Yeah.
When did you guys get back together?
Yesterday. No, just kidding.
Like right now?
4 hours ago. No, we got back together.
Like last year?
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yeah, we were together New Year's. Yeah, we were together New Year's. I think it's been a few months already. Yeah. We got back together and we were talking for like a few months. And then I told him like, what do you want to do? Like, are you sure you want to be with me? Like, is this something you want? You know, I know I'm not the easiest to deal with, but I mean well. Tengo corazón, pero I just, I'm a little rough on the edges. So he was like, no, I do. And I was like, okay. And then he asked me to be his girlfriend. I just told him that I wanted things to be serious. We might have not did it right the first time, but this time I'm like, I want to do it serious. Even if, so what? Cosas pasan en la vida. Let's do it again. Like, why? We have so much time in the world. We're both young. We have so much time. What else do we have to do? Like, this is what we do. And he was like, okay. So then he asked me to be his girlfriend on the beach. It was so beautiful. That was the most, I loved it. And now he shows me, he was very serious with me in the beginning. Like, when we first got together, and I understand him, he was very like, And now I feel like he shows more his sweet side. Like, and then we decided, because we're always together. And I did have my apartment in Texas, and he has an apartment here in Cali. He was like, you know what? Like, do you just want to, like, move in together? And I was like, yeah. Like, I feel like it would be a good idea. Well, we already had talked about it. I had brought it up too. I would bring it up too. Like, you know what it is? Like, I'm paying for an apartment in Texas for what? Like, I just have it just there. And plus, I'm already good with my mom. And I already had fixed in my mom too, and they were good. So I felt like it was just a good move. I was mainly always over here too. Siempre me quedaba with my friends or, like, or something. I was always say, like, I was always here. Like, I was literally based here, and everybody would tell me, like, oh, why don't you just move out here anymore? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just, So then finally, like, I guess se hizo, like, I was like, okay. And I was still hesitant. I was still like, I'm scared because this means like we're serious, which is fine. But I'm just like, I was more scared for him because me, I'm like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Like, no voy a estar aquí toda la vida. I can't be waiting. I'm 24. Like, yes, I'm still young, but I'm like, let's go. Like, I'm very too like, ándale. Like, I don't got time to be wasted. Que gutu. I mean, I'm in love with you. You're in love with me. Might as well.
If it works out, great. If not, como dices tú, we're jóvenes. Yeah, we're young.
We don't got time to be wasting. I don't want to waste his time. He's big on that too. His thing is, don't waste my time and I won't waste yours. And I'm big on that too. Like, I've learned that. Like, for what? No hay para qué gastar tiempo. Like, what's up? So I just feel like if you have the opportunity to do it and you want to do it, hazlo. Porque la gente siempre habla, of course they're going to be like, there's some, hasta yo también me grito yo sola. Like, babes, you can't tell me something that I already didn't cross my mind. Like, damn, girl, that fast. Like, but I was already like, nah, pues ni modo. Like, if I felt like in my heart like it was good and I didn't have no red flags and I felt like this and that, then no.
Ahorita vamos a dejar ya la plática del Joey. Ahorita el Joey, los oídos le van a estar sonando. Yo quiero platicar surgery. You've gotten 2 plastic surgeries. The first one cuando tenías 19 años, which was when you were going through that very toxic relationship. Cuéntanos un poquito de esa surgery. ¿Qué te agarraste? What was it like, telling your parents that you were going to get this surgery? What was the reaction? And what was the day of?
Oh, my mom was so mad. She was so mad. She was like, no, ¿cómo te vas a...? Even though all my sisters have like something. If it's not their boobs, it's something, then I was like, pero por qué? And then she was so mad. She was so against it. She was like, no, es que nunca sabes, you know. And obviously, the thing is, where I live, Mexico's right there. Like, literally, we're 20 minutes away. Say you're like, one day, I just want to go get a rhinoplasty. Babe, go. Like, you can get it done in a week. So, se me hizo fácil. And over there, it's like it's not good that it's a typical thing, but it is a typical thing over there to do your body. Like, which I think there's obviously bad things and there's good things. Right now, I feel like it's a little bit more bad because there's so much going on and you just never know. I mean, you have to do your research good. Yeah. So my first one was just, I didn't do my research that good. I mean, I went to my first doctor and then me dejó bien, but the process was just, the difference between a BBL and a lipo is that a BBL is fat transfer. Todo lo que me sacaron from my back, from my arms, from my legs, me lo ponieron where I wanted. Not all of it, just a little bit. Because I already had cuerpo. Like, if you go see my old TikToks, they're still there, guys, if you guys want to see them. Like, I still had my cuerpo. It was just that they put a little bit more on top.
Like, enhancing it now. Yeah.
Oh, my God. But the fat transfer... was so painful. So painful. I felt like because your body's trying to grasp new, I don't know what it was. But I just felt like it was so painful. And then when me operaron, and then that same day I went home. You're not supposed to go home. But because it was my prima took me. I remember they had called me the day before, literally. I didn't even know that I was going to get surgery the next day. Like, I wasn't mentally prepared because they called me. They're like, hey, we just have an opening tomorrow for 5 a.m. Si quieres venir. And I was like, okay. Yo, I was reckless. And I told my mom, what operar? She's like, no, ¿cómo vas a hacer? I was like, no, me lo voy a hacer. I had done everything already behind her back, like doing everything. And when I told her, like, I was just going to tell her, like, hey, I'm going to do it. She's like, no, te lo voy a hacer. And I still went. She was mad, but obviously she was worried. Like, and I came home. And as soon as I got off the car, I fainted. And my mom was just like, my prima, they were trying to wake me up. They got me finally to the bed. I don't remember the first day after. I don't remember.
Like, that's how much pain you were in?
I kept fainting because I was losing so much blood. No sé cómo le hizo mi mom, but she did it. Like, she saved me con alcohol, que levántate, que tómate esta pastilla, like, take iron and eat this. Like, she's done a few things to herself, so, and other people in my family, so it's not new to her. She already knew what to do, but she said that I was losing too much blood, and only because I tengo anemia, so I was losing too much blood, and girl, I was not having it. I was so scared. I remember that I would get up to shower, and I would see the water, and then boom, like you feel when you're gonna faint. What happened to me? This one I know your ears pop, and then once my ear pop, I'm like, oh my God, here I go. Boom.
¿No te lastimabas más cuando te caías?
Well, my mom wouldn't let me, like, nunca me dejaban. Like, they would just take, it was my mom and my sister, nunca me dejaban sola. Like, I estaban, like, but my mom said, like, Leslie, te podías, like, morir. Like, you know that, right? Like, you understand what you just went through. Yeah. And I'm like, no, yeah, I understand. And it did scare me the first time because that was something. And then, obviously, I gained a little bit of weight after my BBL. So, I don't know why, after I gained weight the first time with my BBL, my body was looking too exageradamente. And I didn't like it. Like, my hips, because I'm already, like, why would I do that? I don't know why I did that. Me puse más. I guess porque quería que mi body se mirara más curvy. And I was just being nasty, to be honest. And I gained weight. And then there's where recently, I think, like, I'm already, like, on a year. I got a lipo. Me quité los hips, lo que me puse, algo más natural. And I still feel like if you want to look sculpted, that's the way to go. But if you want to lose weight, people think that losing weight is like a lipo or BBL. Maybe a lipo sí te hace ver más flaca, but the best thing that you can do to lose weight, literally, is probably the skinny shop, like Ozempic, or even...
weight loss surgery? Yes. I think you have to, like, lose... I've always been, because even prior to getting weight loss surgery, I wanted to do a BBL. Nunca me la he hecho. But before that, I'd be like, bitch, like... I have a lot of fat, but I'm not going to look proportionate.
There you go. Perfect words. Like, girls don't realize that if you want to be like skinny or you want your body a certain way, that's not the route to go. You're going to look like probably the same, just sculpted. Yeah. Literally the best way I can put it. And a lot of people like to talk about it, like, oh, no te hagas esto and this and that. No, babe, haz lo que se te pega la gana because you're in your body.
Yeah.
Only you know. Like, people don't know that girls go. I know every girl goes through it. Like, you don't feel pretty. Every girl wants a butt, and it's fine. Like, quieres tu cuerpo, and that's fine. Tú quieres lo tuyo, and that's fine. Like, I don't think it's bad. I think everybody should just do whatever they want to do porque es tu cuerpo. You're going to live with it for the rest of your life. ¿Cómo te vas a levantar y no sentirte bien?
Yeah.
No te van a dar ganas de hacer nada. So I understand them. I mean, I do it the right way. I do believe, because I feel like a lot of girls can do it like, oh, $2,000 for a BBL. No, babe.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. Like, I would honestly, like, wait, because you still need your massages. You still need your fajas, the right pills.
I think, like, a cheap price is, like, $10,000, no, in Mexico.
No, I think a cheap price can still be, like, 8.
But before the aftercare, no? Because the aftercare
Oh,
is
wait,
expensive.
yeah, no, you're right. No, correct, you're right. Like, you're going to spend, like, 10 grand on everything. For you to do everything fully right, massages, everything. I feel like this time around, the second time, it was more easy. It was super more easy. I already had gone through it, so I knew what to do. I knew what to... My mom was like, otra vez no emprendiste? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to get lipo, because I did gain a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And I finally wanted to do it. But I already knew, I'm going to get the lipo. I'm going to stick with it, and then I'm going to still eat good and lose more weight. But I wanted to look more natural. I feel like my butt was exageradamente, not too much. A lot of people, it still look kind of, because I'm still, like, thick. Like, I'm still gordita. Like, I'm not gordita, but I'm still a thick girl. And I never wanted to look too, you know? And so, me quité hips, and what else did they do? And just regular lipo, arms, back, like my legs también a little bit, and now I just take care of myself. I eat good, and that was the best thing I could. I was like, wow, I should have just done. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Instead of getting my lipo, I should just ate good and gone to the gym, because that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm losing more weight than I did with the lipo. Oh, and then the first time I also got a lot of people would tell me about my face. So I got the lipo papada, guys, and the bichectomía. Lipo papada is your cheeks. They go in, they just numb this part, and they take off your cheeks, and they take off this. So my side profile, like, it was still there, but I wanted it to look like, you know.
I've gotten chin lipo, but I wanted to get at one point the bichectomía,
you don't need
but
it.
I've heard it's like the recovery is painful, huh? Because even when you're eating, like, they make you eat like a lot of soups or stuff like that, because I looked into it, and I was like, oh shit, like, imagine.
The thing is that you have a cut. So, like, it te va a picar. So you obviously can't eat, like, everything. But I feel like I think what hurt me more. Yeah.
Like,
I think that one hurt me
huh?
more than this one. This one wasn't that bad, but my cheeks, I think I felt, because it's in your mouth. Like, there's where it goes to go down, you know? So I feel like it did hurt. But I think I was eating pizza, which was raw to me, like 3 days. But I was so reckless with that. But I feel like that didn't hurt me. This didn't hurt me. I just got a lot of headaches. But
it's just more like soreness, no? Because when I got my chin lipo, it just felt like my whole face was like hard. I would touch myself, and I'm like, fuck, I feel all tieso.
No, and I still feel it right here. Like, I could still massage myself if I wanted to, but I feel it a little hard because I didn't do the full massages. So that's bad. Like, you're supposed to do all your massages, but I could feel it a little bit hard. But that's stuff that you could still, like, work on.
It's like stuff. I think aftercare is very important. The reason why I didn't get the bichectomía, you know, I was actually gonna get it with my chin lipo, but I remember the doctor me dijo that he's like, the people that get bichectomía, or however you say it, are most likely gonna get facelifts, you know, when they get older. Y me lo explicó because basically if you take away the fat that's on this side, pues ya no va a haber fat to kind of keep the face lifted. So with age, se te va a caer la cara. No, güey. Yo ya estaba perdiendo mucho peso. And I was like, ya se me está cayendo los cueros. Ahora, majita, me quito eso.
So I noticed that. And they did warn me. They had that talk with me. And I was like, okay, but still do it. Of course, me.
You're like, I'll have for a fucking facelift later.
I'm like, okay, so right now. But I feel like now that I'm losing weight, I see what they were talking about. Like, I look at my face and I feel like it looks exageradamente. They're like, oh, you did your cheekbones. Like, no. It's just what I did with my cheeks. And these are my natural cheekbones. Like, no me tengo. Oh, I have a little bit of Botox. Okay. I have a little bit of Botox, but it's not like exageradamente. I did the Botox like, months ago. But because of that reason, because they were right. Because my face was like, I don't know. It like
droops a little bit. Yo perdí over 151 pounds. So I was like, oh shit. Like, se me va a caer toda la puta cara. Yeah. Like, it is crazy.
So now we got to maintain it with Botox. And that's why I'm like, there's no way. My mom was like, why are you doing that? I'm like, let me explain. Because I did a little mistake when I was young. And I did. So now I have to put I don't have to. Like, it's just a preference. Like, it's just something that I see, yo misma. But I see a little bit of Botox. I have a little bit of Botox and just my lip filler. And that's pretty much it.
Y te miras bien, you know what I mean? But I do feel like surgery, tienen que hacer su pinche research, amigas. En verdad que sí. Quiero platicar del último tema, que viene siendo cómo empezaste tú en las redes. Obviamente nos has dicho that you've been doing this for a long time, but I want to know what inspired you primarily to be like, you know what? I'm going to start recording myself y pues voy a subir estos pinches videos. ¿Cómo empezó todo eso?
I think when I first posted, what did I post? I think it was just me talking. One post of me talking. I was saying something. I was bitching about something. It was just something like me estaba quejando. And then boom, after that I was like, oh, they like for me to talk. I was like, okay, de ahí. Once talking, boom, I started posting talking. I kind of learned it already. I started learning how to do it. And después de eso, I was like, wow, like, I blew up quick on there. I think I posted one, and then like a month later, I was already at like 200K.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was already like boom.
Were you posting a lot?
I was. Once I got that first one, I just boom, 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 boom. Like I kept going and going. Like before we could even go live. Like this is when TikTok was just barely like a thing, and I started on there, and I think when everybody first started talking, that's when I first started talking on there. When it wasn't like dancing no more.
What was like your first moment where you realized like, oh shit, like me está yendo bien, dinero wise, that you were like, you know what? Si me pongo las pilas, I can do this shit full time.
So I signed up, right? You know, when before.
For the creator program?
Yeah, I think it was right before the.
I think it was like the first one.
Yeah, it was like the first one. And I didn't know, like I put it and then, se me olvidó because I was still working. Like I still had my job. So I was like, Like I wasn't putting it. And then one time I went to go check. They're like, oh, like it would send you a notification. I went to go check. It said 8,000. I was like, you're telling me I'm sitting here talking about my life and I'm getting paid, babes. This is it. They should have never paid me because as I kept going and going and going. It took me a while to get paid on there though. I think you had to have like, it was like a different way of being over there on there. And then I was like, when I first got paid, I think, because they wouldn't pay you the first 8,000. They would give you like 1,000 and then I think 2,000. It depends how you would do that month. And then there's where I started. I never gave up. I stopped for a minute, and then when I went back again, that's when already the minute videos started going back again. And then the lives, I started going on there, and I didn't stop. I think when I saw that I had my first paycheck, there was like a good 2,000. I was like, wow.
Like de aquí soy.
Yeah, I mean, 2,000, and I'm like 19, 18, or no, wait. I was like 19, 20. I was like, ooh, girl, I'm balling. Like, ooh.
Y luego también nomás por hablar.
Yes.
Imagínate nomás sentarte y arreglarte.
It wasn't even something that I was taking it serious. Like, I knew that I could make it serious. That's one thing about it, that I knew that I could do it. I'm like, oh, girl, I can do this. Like, I know I can. Y como soy, like, I knew it.
And, you know, desde ese momento, you kept going. Y pues, ahorita you're sitting with a whole platform que gracias a Dios va a seguir creciendo. Ya para terminar la plática del día de hoy, ¿en dónde te miras tú en los próximos 5 años? Career-wise, personal, ¿en dónde te miras?
In 5 years, I still want to be on there. I still want to entertain. I still want them to see my life. I still want them to see my mistakes. I don't want anything to change, to be honest. Todavía quiero vivir. I still want it how it is. I want to be able to live my life in whatever lo que se me viene. Even if one day, I know a lot of people are like, oh, like business-wise. Honestly, I'd rather promote for these business for people that actually have, like, I just feel like it's two different things. I still want to be here to help people promote their business. It would be nice to have my own, but I just feel like I don't have that mindset. I still want to be the one to be like, oh, guys, look at this, look at this, look at this. I love to do that.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Everyone's like, oh, you might as well just make your own business. No, es igual. I like to do it for other people because I don't deal with the headache of other things, but I feel like I'm very good. I might not be good at having a business, but I am very good at promoting other people's business.
You're a salesperson.
I guess I am. Like, te puedo vender algo que you don't even think que te estoy vendiendo. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm very good at that. And I recently learned that too. That's something that I didn't know that I had. Before I went on there platicando de mi vida and doing stuff like that, and more now YouTube. I hadn't started YouTube. And now, like, I didn't even think that I would like it. I never did YouTube because then I did one update on my life and boom, like it went good. So I was like, oh, okay, like now I know, like, that
YouTube is where it's at though.
Yeah.
I love YouTube.
I didn't realize that. People are like, no, we like for you to talk a lot. We don't like just for 10 seconds. We want you to talk. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And there's just, I think new things are coming to me that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, TikTok, it's going good. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate TikTok so much. But I feel like I needed to realize other things. Like, girl, there's other platforms. Like, you can do it on other things too. And I feel like it's a new door opening for me. And I'm going to take it straightforward, just how I did TikTok. Even if I have like a few 10K or whatever, I could still start. Like, the way I feel like the way I started on TikTok, like sola and by myself, I'm a self-made person on there. I didn't need no one else to like, I didn't get off of anybody else's cloud. I didn't do nothing. I was self-made and desde ahí me voy por arriba. Like, and I can do it again. I feel like I can do it anywhere else. What's the difference? Like, you just, if you put your mind to it, vas a seguir.
Y esa es la mentalidad como influencer or content creator que tienes que tener, porque yo miro mucho que, you know, especially with TikTok, se queda nomás en esa plataforma. You know, you're a TikToker. And like people that just do TikTok, they're like, well, me va bien y aquí me voy a quedar. But you really do, as a content creator, one thing that I've always been very big, even if you don't love the other platforms, you have to put your egg on all those baskets, because imagínate, güey, si nos hubieran quitado bien TikTok, la gente que nomás se dedica a TikTok, pues ahí se les acabó la vida.
I think that was a wake-up call too. But I feel like it's super hard. Even a few months back, I had that in my head where I was like, no, it was just me. I just want to push other platforms. Yeah. I started pushing Facebook. I'm a little bit on there too. I started pushing YouTube. Oh, no, not YouTube yet. I started Facebook, Snapchat, and
Instagram.
Yes, Instagram too. I put my head to Instagram. I worked that. I don't know. One thing about me is when I put my head on there, I'm voy. Y I voy a estar. And then I was a little bit on TikTok. And now I'm on YouTube. You might not be able to do everything at once, but everything takes time, and you just go one by one. Y ahí te vas.
And I think it is very important. You guys, I think you guys are always asking, you know, ¿cómo le haces? Es que a veces no se puede hacer todo. Pero es el tener esa mentalidad de que, ok, no puedo hacer todo all at once, pero me voy a dedicar tiempo, si aunque sea 10 minutos para subir acá, allá y acá. No es imposible si en verdad quieres dedicarte a eso.
I don't think people realize this. I think that's why I feel like creators need to hear this and people need to hear this. Guys, there's enough followers for everyone. There's no need to fight like, oh, she's clout. There's no, the whole clout chasing things a little like, oh, it doesn't sit right with me, because I'm like, tanta gente en este mundo. Yeah. How do you know that in Spanish there's Spanish creators, fully Spanish. Yeah. There's fully English creators. And if you have both, you better work on both. Like there's a lot. There's so many people in this world. But just because you're not loud enough and they don't hear you, si no dices nada, nadie te escucha. You need for people to hear you. There's enough people, pero que te oyen. People need to relate to you. Don't be scared. There's so many people like, oh, there's gonna be people, because there's enough people. Like people don't realize that there's certain things that you go through. People don't realize that, and just that there's enough out there. Trust me, there's enough people for everybody. Even if you have to learn a different language, even if whatever the case is, do it and do it strong. Y te va a ir muy bien. And just because your light's not shining bright right now, it will shine for you when it's supposed to shine. Because if it shines when it's not supposed to shine, it's not going to shine right. Yeah. So, I
think you also have to know not to give up and keep going. Yo siempre lo he dicho, amiga. If your success is over here and you stop right here, you're never going to get to over here. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, amigas, thank you once again.
Thank you for
being here with us today. Yo sé que ya en casita la pudieron conocer un poquito más. Si no la han seguido, amigas, vayan y síganla. Aquí les voy a dejar our social medias down below, as well as on the screen. Y también no se les olvide seguirme a mí para que no se pierdan any future episodes. And once again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
And thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you guys.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Yay!